There is a moment in the life of every person who has ever tried to build something financially. A moment they almost never see coming. Not the moment they get rich, not the moment they pay off their debt, not the moment they finally feel secure, the moment they stop being the only engine. $20,000. Now, I need you to stop assuming you know what this video is about, because this is not a video about how $20,000 will make you wealthy. It is not a video about compound interest charts or investment strategies. This is a video about a structural shift, a change in the mechanics of how money works in your life that happens at this specific number and not before it. Here is what we are going to cover. We start with the one-engine problem. Why below $20,000? You are the only source of momentum in your financial life. Then, the second engine. What begins to operate in parallel when this threshold is crossed? After that, the velocity gap. Why 10,000 and 20,000 look similar on paper but produce completely different outcomes. Then, the consumption window, the most dangerous 48 hours in this entire journey. Then, the allocation system, exactly how to structure this money. And finally, the irreversible decision, the question that will still be with you long after the numbers stop mattering. This is not a motivational video. There is no hype here. Let's begin. Imagine a cargo ship crossing the Atlantic. One engine, maximum capacity, every day, burning fuel at full power just to maintain forward movement. The ship is moving, the progress is real, but consider what happens when the engine needs maintenance, or when the fuel runs low, or when the weather turns and the resistance doubles. There is no redundancy. There is no second source of thrust. The moment the single engine falters, for any reason, the ship stops. This is your financial life below $20,000. You are the engine. Every dollar that enters your life comes from the same source: your time, your labor, your presence. You work, money appears. You stop working, money stops. You get sick, money stops. The economy shifts, money stops. And here is the critical problem that no one names clearly enough. Time does not compound. Money can, but only above a certain threshold, below the point where the returns on your capital cover a meaningful portion of your actual expenses. Compounding is theoretical. It exists on paper. It does not change your life. Here is the number that most financial content gets wrong. 10% of $5,000 is $41 per month. That does not cover your rent. It does not cover your car payment. You are still the engine. The capital is a passenger. 10% of $20,000 is $166 per month. Still not freedom. But here is where something changes. $166 per month is a bill. Internet, phone, a car insurance payment. When your capital begins generating returns that cover a real, recurring expense, something shifts, not dramatically, not visibly, but structurally. For the first time, something other than you is paying for part of your life. A second engine has come online. It is small. It is not powerful enough to move the ship alone, but it is running. And unlike you, it does not get tired. Let me show you two people. Same city, same job, same salary. Call them James and Ryan. James has $12,000 saved. Ryan has $22,000. On the surface, they look almost identical. Their company announces layoffs, 30% of the department. No one knows who is on the list. James runs the calculation. $12,000, 3, maybe 4 months of expenses. If he loses this job, the window is narrow. He starts performing, working longer hours, avoiding any disagreement, taking on projects he does not believe in, because refusing feels like risk. He is making decisions from fear, and fear, as the research on financial stress consistently shows, is a processor tax. It consumes the cognitive bandwidth you would otherwise use to think clearly. Ryan runs the same calculation, $22,000, 6 months of expenses, his index fund generating roughly $180 per month on its own. He is not unafraid, but the threat has a different shape. He does the work that matters. He speaks clearly in meetings. When a project is poorly conceived, he says so, because the cost of honesty is no longer catastrophic. This is the second engine. At 10,000, you can withstand a short-term crisis. At 20,000, you can make a long-term choice. That is not a small distinction. That is the difference between surviving and positioning. The second engine is not powerful today, but it is permanent. And permanence, compounded over time, becomes force. But here is what almost no one tells you about the gap between 10,000 and 20,000. They look like the same kind of money. They are not. The reason why is not psychological. It is not behavioral. It is physics. In aerospace engineering, escape velocity is the minimum speed a rocket must reach to break free from a planet's gravitational pull. Below escape velocity, the rocket goes up, reaches impressive heights, and then gravity wins. The rocket slows, stops, and falls back. $10,000 is impressive thrust, but $10,000 does not reach escape velocity. Here is what this looks like in a real life, not a spreadsheet. Sarah reached $10,000 last year. She held the line for 14 months, said no to things that hurt to say no to. Then her car needed work, $800. Then the new apartment required first, last, and deposit, $2,200. Then a family situation required travel she could not avoid, $600. In 4 months, $10,000 became $6,200. She did not make bad decisions. She made normal decisions, life-sized decisions. The problem was not her discipline. The problem was the altitude. $10,000 does not have enough altitude to absorb normal life without falling back. $20,000 does. This is the velocity gap. The difference between 10 and 20,000 is not the difference between 10 and 20. It is the difference between a rocket that reaches impressive height and one that crosses the threshold where gravity stops winning. The goal is not to reach 10,000 and breathe. The goal is to reach 20,000 without stopping. Which brings us to the chapter I have been building toward since the beginning, the most dangerous 48 hours in this entire journey. Picture this exact moment. You check your account, $20,300. You have been working toward this for 2 years. You have said no to trips, worn the same shoes for 18 months, watched people around you spend freely while you calculated every purchase. And now the number is there. Your brain, which spent 2 years in deliberate deprivation, does not respond with calm satisfaction. It responds with pressure, immediate, physical pressure. The compensation narrative activates instantly. You worked so hard. You deserve to feel it. This money has been sitting there doing nothing while you sacrificed everything. Now picture what happens next. Your phone buzzes. A message from a close friend. A group of people you care about are going somewhere. A trip. Something that costs money you now technically have. They are asking if you are finally in. You have said no to the last 3 things. You can feel what saying no again will cost you. Not financially, but socially. This is the consumption window, a specific period, often 48 to 72 hours after crossing a significant threshold, where the psychological pressure to spend is at its absolute maximum. It is not random, it is neurological. Your brain has been tracking the sacrifice, and the moment the number appears, it begins calculating what compensation it is owed. Here is what happens to most people in this window. They do not make one large catastrophic decision. They make 3 or 4 smaller ones. The trip, a dinner that feels earned, a purchase that individually seems reasonable. Each one is justifiable. Each one is, in isolation, arguably fine. Together, they reduce 20,000 to 14,000, and 14,000 is not 20,000. The second engine does not come online at 14,000. You are back below the threshold. The gravity still wins, and this time, it is harder to go back, because you know what 20,000 felt like, and you chose to spend it. The social version of this pressure is equally real. When you protect this number, people notice. Some will say, "You have the money now. Why are you still being so careful?" This is not malice. Your discipline makes their spending visible in a way that is uncomfortable. The equilibrium has been disrupted. To hold the line here, you need one framing to be stronger than the compensation narrative. This money is not a reward for the past. It is the foundation of the second engine. If you dismantle the foundation to pay for the past, the engine never runs. The consumption window is a test of one thing, whether you can hold the identity of a builder long enough for the building to actually happen. You held the line. Now what? The first function of this money is protection. $8,000 to $10,000 goes into a high-yield savings account, separate from your life, not an investment, not an opportunity fund. The armor. When life fires at you, the medical bill, the job loss, the car repair, this money absorbs the impact. You do not go into debt. The second engine keeps running. Do not touch the armor for anything that is not a genuine emergency. The second function is deployment. The remaining $10,000 to $12,000 are your soldiers. A low-cost index fund tracking the broad market. No individual stocks, no complexity, no timing the market. The second engine does not roar. It hums, and it will hum for decades if you do not interrupt it. But here is what most blueprints skip. At $20,000, the highest returning investment available to most people is not in any market. It is in the gap between what you currently earn and what you are capable of earning. A skill that increases your annual income by $4,000 delivers an infinite return on whatever you spent to acquire it, because it pays every year indefinitely. No legal financial instrument replicates this. Now, the death list. 3 behaviors that will return you to zero. 1. Do not use leverage. A single bad month can erase everything. 2. Do not chase complexity. Anything promising extraordinary returns in short time frames is a mechanism for transferring money from people who do not have enough of it to people who do. At $20,000, you are the prey, not the predator. 3. Do not lock your liquidity. A large down payment, any major illiquid obligation, resist it. The moment you lock it away, the ground you gained begins to erode. Keep the armor intact. Deploy the soldiers. Invest in your own value. Both engines running. That is the only objective. One important note. Nothing in this video is financial advice. Before making any investment decision, talk to a qualified financial professional who knows your actual numbers. When you cross the $20,000 line, something interesting happens. You will probably not feel what you expected to feel. The apartment looks the same. The commute is the same. The mirror shows you the same person. And that gap between what you expected the number to feel like and what it actually feels like is where most people make a critical error. They conclude that the money did not matter. What they are missing is that the most significant change is invisible. You now have 2 engines. One of them does not require your time. One of them does not get tired. One of them will still be running quietly, mechanically, without drama, while you are doing everything else in your life. That engine was not there before. It cannot be unstarted. Behavioral economists call what you expected to feel the arrival fallacy, the belief that reaching a threshold produces a sustained emotional transformation. It does not. The emotional boost fades within days, but the structural change does not fade. The second engine keeps running, whether you feel it or not. Here is the reframe that matters. You did not save $20,000. You purchased the permanent, ongoing service of a second source of income, one that will grow for the rest of your life if you protect it. That is not an amount of money. That is an irreversible decision about how your future operates. The second engine is waiting. The only question is whether you build it or spend it. Let's name what you have seen. The one engine problem. You are the only source of momentum. Time cannot compound. Every disruption stops everything. The second engine, operating in parallel at $20,000. Small at first, permanent from the start. The velocity gap. 10 and 20 look similar on paper and produce completely different outcomes in practice. The difference between impressive altitude and escape velocity. The consumption window, the 48 hours where everything you built is most at risk. The compensation narrative, the social pressure, the test of whether you hold the builder's identity long enough. The allocation system, the armor, the soldiers, the human capital investment, and the 3 behaviors on the death list. And the irreversible decision, $20,000 is not an amount of money. It is the moment a second engine starts and never has to stop. Write one thing in the comments, not where you are, not a vague intention. Write one specific decision you are facing right now, something you have been making from fear, from the one engine problem, and how you would make it differently if the second engine were already running. That is not a comment. That is the beginning of a different operating system. The engine is waiting. Don't leave it on the ground.